Morning everyone, welcome to Compliance Over Coffee. Sorry, just chuckling about the thought of using a magic wand on my screen to put sparkles around me, but I haven't, obviously. It's a wonderful sunny day here in Lancashire today, and we have daffodils with us again. That time of year again, guys. So this morning I wanted to talk to you about something, I guess it's going back to basics again. I was presenting a couple of weeks ago in Darlington, and I started the presentation as always, and a couple of people at the front put their hands up and stopped me in my tracks, which is highly unusual, and said, "What's property sourcing? We don't know." And to be honest, I never include that at the front end of my presentations. After 5 years or so, I kind of started thinking that everyone knows what property sourcing is. But apparently not everyone does. So maybe it's a slide that I need to add. But I thought we'd take a few minutes this morning just to have a chat around my thoughts on what property sourcing is. Now, a lot of people will say to you, oh, it's deal packaging, it's property introducing, it's property packaging, it's deal sourcing, it's property sourcing. I've lost track of how many different names people use for the same thing. And let's make it clear, it doesn't care what you call yourself, you're still doing the same thing. It doesn't get you out of compliance. Let me just make that absolutely clear. Property sourcing is a very, very simple concept. Incredibly simple, actually. You need 3 aspects to it. You need a buyer, you need a seller, you need a package deal, if that's what you want to call it, and you need it to fit everybody's needs for you to get it across the line and you get your sourcing fee in the bank. And simplistically, that is the process of property sourcing, deal packaging, whatever you want to call it. But of course, I hope you know, and I've realised for many, many years now, that it isn't a process to everyone. It really isn't. It can be, for some people, completely and utterly life-changing how they're dealt with. And of course, we're talking about the seller. So it isn't bricks and mortar, it is that you're packaging, but the deal that you're packaging is about people. Because it isn't about the bricks and mortar and how you package it and the percentage returns, the ROI, or anything else that you can talk about. The way to actually get the cash in the bank is to make it about the people involved. So you've got your buyer, and that deal that you package has to meet their criteria or they won't buy it. Doesn't matter how pretty the bricks and mortar are, doesn't matter how lovely a location the bricks and mortar are in, if that packaged deal doesn't fit that investor's criteria, it will go nowhere. But conversely, you can't secure that package deal unless you fulfill the needs of the seller. And sometimes we can't fulfill the needs of the seller for the simple reason that what our investor is looking for doesn't fit their criteria. Now, you could say it doesn't fit their criteria right now at this moment in time and stay in touch, and that's absolutely fine. I get that. That's good marketing. Stay in touch. It might not be right for them yet. In 3, 6, 12 months' time, it might. But if they're in a position at the moment where they're really, really struggling and you're thinking, my investor wants this for a minimo and I've got to get 25% minimum BMV to be able to get it, then stop and think for a moment, is that the right thing to do for the seller? Because remember, they are people, they are human beings. And I don't know about you guys, but certainly Tony and I have had times when we've been tight for cash, when one property that was owned by one of us was almost repossessed because of divorce. And any of us can be in that position. So before you start just boiling property sourcing, deal packaging down to bricks and mortar and the level of BMV, the level of discount that you can get for your package and how much your investor's going to love you, think about the consequences of what you're doing for the seller. Because anyone that is described as motivated means that they have a reason for wanting to do a deal on the property. Quite often that can be financial. And certainly at least the TPO, the Property Ombudsman, if you're registered with them and you haven't read the Code of Practice, have a section on vulnerable clients. And they consider to be vulnerable those sellers that are willing to accept high levels of BMV or discounts because they feel they don't have a choice. They're considered to be vulnerable. So you guys need to be considering them as such. So do you see what I'm saying when property sourcing, deal packaging, or whatever you want to call it, is sold as being an easy entry, easy money in the bank type stuff? And I'm not saying that you can't make money at it, but what is it actually? It's a people business. It's a people business. And you need to start thinking about the people that you're dealing with, especially the sellers. Because when we go into a seller directly, if I feel that they are distressed, for want of a better description, and I feel that working with us would put them in a worse financial position than they're already in, we won't do it. Because I don't have the skill set at this moment in time to deal with repossessions. Tony is learning about it. I don't have that knowledge. We signpost them to other people who can help. So as sourcing agents, deal packagers, whatever you want to call yourself, get a list of the places that you can signpost people if they're in dire need. Because I'm telling you now, if they're willing to accept huge discounts, they're in dire need. And maybe, just maybe, that is not the best way to deal with them. So property sourcing is about packaging the bricks and mortar and getting a deal that your investor is looking for. To do that, it has got to fit what your seller wants and needs. So there are two people that you have to please. There are two people whose needs you have to meet. And that is basically what property sourcing deal packaging is. I hope that's been useful to you. Thank you for watching. I will be back again next week as normal, Thursday, 8:30 in the morning. In the meantime, have a great Thursday. Have a fantastic weekend. Bye for now.